It is an impressive win for the Ukrainians, the attack that they just perpetrated in the region of Balai in Russia, 2,500 miles away from the border of Ukraine. Guys, as always, welcome to the channel The More Survivalists. If you want to learn more about realistic survival without the fear-monger and the paranoia, just objectively preparing for things as they happen, you have 3 survival skills, and you have surviving the economic collapse, based on my experience of going through just that in Argentina. A lot of information condensed in these 2 books, which you have available in the links there below in Amazon, also audiobook books and Kindle versions. Now, in this case, we're talking about the most effective attack from Ukraine since the start of the war. This is $7 billion worth of planes that they managed to destroy. And keep in mind, it's not just about the money. It's not, oh, okay, I have $100,000. I have $100 million. Can I go? No, you just cannot go and buy it. You need to actually make it. That is the real step down, because money is easy to come by. Now, planes, not so much. You have to actually make these again, and that's where you have the real impact. You're talking, I think it's 40 different planes that they managed to attack.
Daring and devastating Ukrainian attacks on Russian troops since the start of the war. Tonight, President Zelensky said his forces used 117 drones in strikes on Russian air bases from deep inside Russia itself, targeting warplanes, including strategic bombers. Now, the scale of the operation is remarkable, with the strikes hitting at least 4 airfields from western Russia across to Moscow and reaching the country's far east.
Oh, I thought it was just one base. Dude, how many did they hit? 4 different bases? Man.
Thousands of miles from Ukraine. The operation, codenamed Spider's Web, comes on the eve of planned peace talks between Ukraine and Russia in Turkey tomorrow. Paul Adams has our top story from Kiev.
Far from Ukraine's borders, an attack of astonishing audacity. Russian strategic bombers picked off one by a fleet of drones.
Dude.
Ukraine calling this Operation Spider's Web, personally overseen by President Zelensky. One of Kiev's boldest attacks so far, a reminder, despite Russia's overwhelming strength in numbers, that Ukraine is a resourceful, determined enemy. Sources say this took a year and a half to prepare. Dozens of drones smuggled into Russia, stored on wooden pallets, loaded onto trucks, driven to distant air bases and launched remotely.
Oh my God, they had these things in the containers, and they're so small, they managed to smuggle them in this top layer, and they open and deploy it. This is just James Bond shit kind of stuff.
With smoke already rising behind, a drone emerges from the truck and heads off to join the attack. Moments later, another, and gunfire as police officers try to bring it down. Ukraine claims to have done a staggering $7 billion worth of damage and knocked out a third of the planes Russia uses to deliver cruise missiles.
Ми розуміємо, з ким маємо справу.
Dozens of drones.
Besides the point, let me make this perfectly clear. I'm super happy for the Ukrainians. I've always been on the side of those that are being attacked, which would be Ukraine. This is pure aggression from Russia. But besides the point, dude, the technology that you're looking at here, the way in which war now is being waged, it's not about being afraid of nukes. It's not about, no. The thing of nightmares now is, that is the thing that is going to shape the war in the future. It is a cheap little drone with a very efficient little battery and a little amount of explosive that just goes and blows the shit out of anyone or anything in its way. I mean, it's obvious. This is the kind of thing we've been seeing in movies for how long? There's no point in having a giant bomb anymore. It is a lot better to have a small bomb and goes directly to who. Imagine when you combine this with facial recognition. You could select high-value targets specifically. You could go against the commanders in whatever region you're looking at. You go directly to them. You go directly to the plane. You go directly to whatever is of high value with your... it's about numbers. Your $1,000 drone, maybe a couple $100 worth of drone, really. Some of these they say you can buy from AliExpress. These are just commercial drones with a fucking bomb, and bombs are cheap in this size. It's under $1,000, and you just destroyed a plane that's worth $50 million, or God knows how much. Or you go after a value target with facial recognition. You just put, and this is like, shed technology. Imagine once you have this, industrialized, a lot larger scale, in which you have these things rolling out of a conveyor belt as if it's fucking popcorn. It is. I mean, I'm happy for the Ukrainians, but this is the scariest thing we've seen in a long time. Imagine having these all the time, and yeah, you do something wrong, and you're getting punished by one of these things. It's surveillance, constantly being surveilled by something flying around and looking at your face, right? And you living like this in fear, and all of a sudden, blown.